Why we can't sit still. What Japan understood about silence. When was the last time you sat alone with your thoughts? No phone, no music, no podcast, no television, no notifications, nothing, just silence. For many people, that question is surprisingly difficult to answer. The moment we wake up, we reach for our phones. While eating, we watch videos. While driving, we listen to podcasts. While exercising, we stream music. While waiting, we scroll endlessly.com. Even a few seconds of silence can feel uncomfortable, almost unbearable. We have become so accustomed to constant stimulation that doing nothing now feels like doing something wrong. But have you ever wondered why? Why is it so difficult to simply sit still? Why does silence make us uncomfortable? Why do we constantly seek distraction? Most people assume this is normal, a natural consequence of modern technology. But what if the problem runs much deeper? For centuries, Japanese culture developed practices that embraced silence rather than avoiding it. Practices that saw stillness not as emptiness, but as something valuable, something necessary. Today we explore a question that affects almost everyone. Why can't we sit still anymore? And what did Japan understand about silence that many of us have forgotten? Chapter 1. The fear of being alone with ourselves. Imagine sitting in an empty room for 10 minutes. No phone, no book, no music, no conversation, just you and your thoughts. For many people, this sounds uncomfortable. Some even describe it as stressful. Why? Because silence removes distractions, and when distractions disappear, something else appears. Ourselves, the worries we avoid, the regrets we ignore. The questions we postpone, the uncertainty we try not to think about. Distraction is not always entertainment. Sometimes it is escape. The modern world gives us endless ways to avoid ourselves, and many of us have become experts at doing exactly that. Whenever discomfort appears, we reach for something, a screen, a conversation, a task, anything that prevents us from being alone with our minds. But the more we avoid ourselves, the less we understand ourselves, and eventually we begin to feel disconnected from our own lives. Chapter 2. The most stimulated humans in history. Never before have humans lived like this. For most of history, silence was normal. Walking meant walking, eating meant eating, waiting meant waiting. Today almost every moment is filled, notifications, videos talk, advertisements, news, social media messages. Algorithms compete for every second of our attention, and they are very good at winning, because human attention has become one of the most valuable resources in the world. Companies spend billions trying to capture it. The longer we stay distracted, the more profitable we become. Slowly, our brains adapt. Silence begins to feel strange. Stillness begins to feel uncomfortable, and boredom begins to feel unacceptable. Chapter 3. Why we reach for our phones. Have you ever noticed how often you reach for your phone without thinking? A conversation pauses. You check your phone. You stand in line. You check your phone. You wait for an elevator. You check your phone. The habit becomes automatic, not because we need information, but because we crave stimulation. Every notification offers possibility, a message, a reward, a surprise. Our brains begin chasing these tiny moments. Over time, ordinary life struggles to compete. A sunset cannot compete with endless novelty. A quiet afternoon cannot compete with constant stimulation. And so we gradually lose our ability to appreciate slower experiences. Chapter 4. The Lost Art of Boredom. Children once spent hours being bored, and surprisingly, that was often a good thing. Boredom created imagination. Creativity.com, exploration.com, reflection.com. Many great ideas emerge during quiet moments, not while consuming information, but while processing it. Yet modern life leaves very little room for boredom. The moment boredom appears, we eliminate it. We fill the silence. We fill the waiting. We fill every empty space, and in doing so, we may also eliminate something essential. Chapter 5. We have forgotten how to wait. There was a time when waiting was a normal part of life. People waited for letters, waited for harvests, waited for visitors, waited for the changing seasons. Waiting was not considered a waste of time. It was simply part of being human. Today, waiting feels almost offensive. If a website loads slowly, we become impatient. If traffic delays us, we become frustrated. If a message remains unanswered, we become anxious. Technology has trained us to expect immediacy, instant communication, instant entertainment, instant information, instant gratification. Yet many of the most meaningful things in life cannot be rushed. Friendship takes time, trust takes time, wisdom takes time, growth takes time, healing takes time, nature takes time, perhaps peace takes time as well. Chapter 6. Why we are exhausted even when doing nothing. Many people feel tired all the time. Not physically.com, mentally.com, and yet they spend much of the day sitting. This seems contradictory. How can someone feel exhausted while barely moving? The answer may lie in attention. Every notification demands attention. Every message demands attention. Every headline demands attention. Every recommendation demands attention. Modern life rarely allows the mind to rest. Even when the body is still, the mind continues running. One thought becomes another. One notification becomes 10. One video becomes 20. By the end of the day, many people feel depleted, not because they worked too hard, but because they paid attention to too many things. Chapter 7. What Japan understood about silence. In many cultures, silence is treated as a problem, something awkward, something to avoid. Japan often viewed it differently. Silence could be meaningful, respectful, peaceful, even beautiful. Traditional gardens encouraged observation. Tea ceremonies slowed people down. Zen practices emphasized stillness, not because silence was empty, but because silence allowed people to notice what was already there. The sound of wind, the movement of water, the changing seasons, the rhythm of breathing, things we often miss when our minds are constantly occupied. Chapter 8. The meaning of ma. One Japanese concept helps explain this idea. It is called ma. Rather than focusing on what fills the space, ma focuses on the space itself, the pause between notes in music, the silence between words, the empty space in a painting, the stillness in a garden. Without pauses, music becomes noise. Without silence, conversation becomes exhausting. Without empty space, beauty becomes overwhelming. Modern life has become very good at filling every gap, but perhaps those gaps were important all along. Chapter 9. The difference between solitude and loneliness. One reason people avoid silence is that they confuse solitude with loneliness. But they are not the same thing. Loneliness is the pain of unwanted isolation. Solitude is the ability to enjoy your own company. Japanese culture has often valued solitude. A quiet walk beneath autumn leaves, a moment beside a garden, a cup of tea enjoyed alone. These moments were not viewed as empty. They were viewed as opportunities to reconnect with oneself. A person who cannot spend time alone often struggles to find peace even when surrounded by others, because true peace does not come from escaping ourselves. It comes from becoming comfortable with ourselves. Chapter 10. Learning to sit still again. The solution is not throwing away your phone. The solution is creating small moments of stillness. A walk without headphones, a meal without a screen, 5 quiet minutes in the morning, watching a sunset without taking a photo, listening to rain without doing anything else. These moments seem insignificant, yet they slowly retrain our attention. And attention shapes experience. What we notice becomes our reality. Final chapter. Silence was never empty. Many people spend their lives searching for more. More information, more entertainment.com, more productivity, more stimulation. Yet the Japanese understanding of silence points in a different direction. Perhaps what we need is not more. Perhaps what we need is space. Space to think, space to breathe, space to notice, space to simply exist. Silence was never empty. We only forgot how to listen. And perhaps the reason we can't sit still anymore is not because silence has changed. Perhaps it is because we have. The next time you find yourself reaching for your phone during a quiet moment, pause, listen. and notice.com, because the peace you are searching for may not be hidden somewhere else. It may already be waiting in the silence you keep trying to escape.